Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Centennial Lecture Series, UP, A View from Inside. This afternoon's lecture is titled Reinventing UP as the National University, Learning for Truth, Leadership, and Social Transformation. Today marks the 16th lecture in the year-long Centennial Lecture Series that feature renowned international and local personalities in the academe, government, and industry. As mentioned earlier, all lectures will be beamed live to the following UP campuses: UP Diliman, UP Manila, UP Los Baños, UP Visayas in Miagao, Cebu and Tacloban, UP Mindanao, UP Baguio, and the UP Open University. This is also webcast through internet for wider coverage. Audience from all over the world may be able to send in their questions via Skype. Before we start, may we just repeat the request to please turn off all your mobile phones. Kindly rise for the Philippine National Anthem.
Alam ng puso sa titik mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, tuyat ka ng mag-ibig. Sa manlulupig, di ka masisigil. Sa dagat at bundok, sa simoy at sa langit mong baka. May nilatang tula at awit sa paglayang minamahal. Ang kislap ng watawat mo'y tagumpay na nagtitigil.
Today, we hold another important event to celebrate UP Centennial. I think most of you are aware that we have lined up a series of events to mark this important milestone in the life of UP. We are organizing celebration activities, fundraising activities, and activities to promote or project UP to the outside world. But the centerpiece of UP Centennial celebration is actually the UP Centennial Lecture Series. After all, UP is an academic institution, and because it is, a good part of commemorating its birthday is to get scholars, experts, and distinguished individuals to share with us their thoughts on UP or their views on burning issues of the day. 4 categories make up the lecture series. One set of lectures will be delivered by insiders. They will present to us their views on UP, its successes and achievements, its faults and shortcomings. From them, we will get the view from inside. Another set will be delivered by those who are not part of our community, but who we believe take an interest in our university. They will share with us their insights on our vision, our mission, as they are perceived by the larger community. From them, we will get the view from outside. The third set of lectures will be by experts, both from UP and from other institutions, who will talk about national and global issues such as global warming, poverty alleviation, indigenous peoples, state of Philippine education, status of women, peace and conflict resolution, etc. And finally, for the 4th category, we will feature distinguished individuals who through their life work have attained great distinction in their respective fields. As an institution tasked not just with producing new knowledge and disseminating existing knowledge, but also with the shaping of the minds of a future generation of leaders, we felt it was important for us to have this lecture series and provide our faculty and students with the opportunity to listen to what our scholars, experts, and invited guests have to say. Today, we present to you one of our very own to guide us through a process of self-assessment, to give us a view from inside. I wish to thank our speaker for sharing this day with us. And to all of you who are here, we are grateful for your presence here today.
Our guest lecturer this afternoon will be introduced by someone who had the privilege to work closely with him. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome former Vice President for Academic Affairs, University Professor Emeritus and Centennial Fellow, Professor Gemino Abad.
President Roman, Regent Nelia Gonzalez, Vice President for Academic Affairs, Ami Guevara, Chancellor Jerry Cao, colleagues, mga scholar ng bayan, friends of the university. To know a man in his heart of hearts is to know his dream. Those of us who have had the good fortune and honor to be fellow servants and friends of Dr. Jose V. Abueva call him Pepe with great affection and admiration because we know his dream. Pepe's dream, a just, prosperous, caring, and humane society. All Pepe's words and actions flow like a great river toward giving voice and body to that dream. It must have been that dream that fired up Pepe, the young UP student from Bohol. In 1951, he finished his bachelor's degree of arts law in UP Diliman, where he worked as library assistant, earning 50 centavos an hour. By 1959, he had obtained his master's in public administration and PhD in political science, both at the University of Michigan. And in 1962, he was one of 10 outstanding young men in our country. In the early 60s, Pepe was a leading force in what is now the National College of Public Administration and Governance, founding its quarterly journal, developing with his colleagues its doctoral program, and undertaking path-breaking studies which are now embodied in the college's Center for Leadership, Citizenship, and Democracy. And soon enough, Pepe was involved in our country's affairs outside academia. Among numerous engagements, he was in 1970 Executive Director of the Joint Executive Legislative Local Government Reform Commission. And from 1971 to 1973, he was Secretary of the Constitutional Convention, elected to that sensitive position by the delegates themselves. Much later on, he served in 1989 as chairman of the Legislative Executive Basis Council, which prepared the comprehensive conversion program for alternative uses of military baselands. This became the framework for the conversion of Subic, Clark, and other military camps. Pepe also served in 2005 as chairman of the Consultative Commission to propose revisions of the Philippine Constitution. But Pepe was also an international public servant, as expert and specialist, as consultant, as member of advisory boards and task forces. And for 10 years, since 1977, Pepe was secretary of the UN University's governing board, and later its director of planning and evaluation, before he took the helm of the University of the Philippines as its 50th president in 1987. In the spirit of EDSA, Pepe ran the university's affairs as a democratic and collegial president. Soon enough, as with all his predecessors, the UP proved a fiery crucible. But Pepe was not one who would run away or hide. He listened and stood his ground for whatever was right and fair. One controversy dealt with a basic reform in the system of tuition fees and government subsidies. In this arena, Pepe had to counter the organized resistance of both upper-class students accustomed to their privileges and militant students who wanted a totally free university education. But for Pepe, the goal was very clear. There was no way he would be prevented from achieving it. Equal opportunity and social justice through equitable tuition fees and redistribution of state subsidies. The students assess on their capacity to pay, and the poor among them exempted from payment and granted more subsidies besides. Another controversy, perhaps the most bitter, concerned the rights of 6 students who were prevented by their faculty from pursuing their studies. The faculty leaders brought Pepe and the chancellor all the way to the Supreme Court, but Pepe prevailed, for the basic issue was fairness and equity. Academic excellence and public service, that is what UP is all about and what makes her noble and great. Pepe knew that and upheld it and challenged his colleagues, for he also knew that in UP as a community of scholars, there are ecosystems of excellence, ambivalence, and mediocrity. He stressed interdisciplinary research and dialogue, outreach programs, commitment to addressing national issues, and offering policy solutions and programmatic solutions. In all these endeavors, Pepe wanted to deepen everyone's awareness of the practical competencies and moral and ethical obligations of citizenship and leadership. For authentic development, he says, is essentially moral in character. Aware as Pepe is that the immense task of nation building is never fully done, his vision of UP is wedded to the constitutional vision for our country. All his efforts as UP president align the university's objectives with the necessary many-faceted social transformation which would enable us to achieve the good society envisioned in our Constitution. To mention only a few landmarks: Oblation Scholarship and the highest academic rank of university professor, the Sentro ng Wikang Filipino, the University Center for Women's Studies, the series of assessments of the state of the nation, the series of anthology of Filipino social political thought, the dictionary of cultural literacy for Filipinos. These are part of UP President Abueva's legacy to our people. One